What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Seez Monroe Show. I am your host, and today we're here to talk about Snow White, and we're also going to talk about Daredevil Episode 4, right here on the Seez Monroe Show.
This was my father's kingdom, a place of fairness, but the Queen changed everything.
Take him away!
Your Majesty,
What did you say?
the people need some kindness.
You know, I really don't remember you being this opinionated. Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all?
Famed is thy beauty, Majesty. But the lovely maiden I now behold.
I look at you, and I just want to be the fairest of them all.
The Queen is evil. You must flee into the woods.
My parents always said this forest was a magical place. Hello? Is there anybody here?
It's a human.
What did you think I was?
Nothing. Ghost.
You'll be safe from the Queen here.
The Queen stole everything from all of us. We're gonna need your help. It's time to restore our kingdom.
Waiting on a wish, holding out for someday, hoping somehow, someway, there comes a miracle.
Find Snow White.
I close my eyes and see the girl I meant to
This is our kingdom, and now we're here to take it back.
You were saying. I'm sorry, my dear. Did I frighten you?
I was raised to believe in grace. But I was also raised to believe in retribution. Sometimes peace needs to be broken. Chaos must reign.
Getting into this topic, I want you guys to know that I'm coming from a non-biased place. Reason being, I've never seen Snow White a day in my life, and I didn't actually know that until after I watched this film. Like, as the film was going, I'm like, there's familiar elements in this film, but I felt like it was just another Disney princess film, which it is. Like, it's one of the originals, but that's why it seemed familiar at some point. And then I realized that I just never watched Snow White at all because this was new to me, unfortunately. On top of that, I want to say that the Hi-Ho song, that was the only thing that seemed like something that I would have known. Problem is, I never knew where it came from. Of course, I've heard the song around Disney World and plenty of other places, but I never knew who it actually came from until now. So now we're here. I'm here to talk about Snow White, so let's get into it. First off, Snow White was a disappointment from beginning to end. From the acting to the execution to the cinematography, just where they're filming this thing, it just felt like they were filming at Disney World for the most part. Like, it didn't feel like it was on set. And need I remind you guys that this film cost $270 million to make. That is ridiculous for this type of film. Not only is it ridiculous to the point of it just shouldn't have cost that much because it's Snow White, but it's ridiculous because I don't know where the money was spent with this film. If you talk about these dwarfs, I just felt like they could have been all the way CGI'd. Like nobody had to act. It seemed like somebody was acting and then they added CGI to the dwarfs. Maybe that's where a lot of that money was spent. But all in all, I just felt like that money could have been very well spent somewhere else. These budgets are getting a little out of hand. And personally, I just feel like with a Snow White film almost costing $300 million is just ridiculous. I don't get it. Gal Gadot, I say this with the worst feeling in my gut because I love Gal Gadot, but I said this back in 2017 when Wonder Woman came out. I believe it was 2017 when Wonder Woman came out. If not, let's put it up there. 2017, Wonder Woman came out. It was a bad film. You guys loved it for some odd reason. Gal Gadot is just not it. She's not a good actor. She is the Michael B. Jordan for women. Well, obviously for men, but she's the Michael B. Jordan of that world. Like, she's not a good actor. And all due respect to Michael B. Jordan, he's with Creed 3, he knocked it out of the park. I haven't seen him act in anything else where it was just believable. Hopefully that one day will come. But right now it's just, again, Gal Gadot is eye candy. And that's what every film has shown us, from Fast 5 to Wonder Woman and so on and so forth. I said Fast 5 like she wasn't in the other 18 Fast and Furious films, but you get my point. Those things I have a problem with. Like, there was no reason for this movie to be that bad and for it to be a remake or a live action version of a film that came out almost 100 years ago. There's no reason for it to be this terrible, guys. And this is my problem with Marvel. And you're going to talk about the main star, which is Jenna Ortega. We're going to talk about her being hopefully that's her name. I believe that's the girl that played Snow White. Another thing about Snow White that I did not know is that her actual name was Snow White. Don't kill me. Honestly, could we have not come up with a better name? Like, Snow White could have been on the front. Like, she could have had a middle name. Like, something could have worked a lot better with this situation. Like, Beauty and the Beast, her name was Belle. I hope that's the princess in Beauty and the Beast, and I hope that's her name. But you get where I'm going here, right? Her name wasn't Beauty in the film. You get that's what I'm talking about. This film just felt like it was hard to watch, first and foremost. The acting was bad. The singing it wasn't terrible, but the songs didn't hit very well. And I'm guessing because I'm coming from an aspect of watching Wicked, which was just phenomenal in all those aspects of things. And Wicked even felt like it was shot on a stage somewhere, but it was a stage that was on like a stage that was in like a location. It wasn't like a caged in or crated in stage. It was like an on location thing, and the stage was put up and Wicked was filmed. That's how I felt about Wicked, and it was phenomenal. With this film, it just felt like they filmed it at Disney World, added some CGI, and then it cost them $300 million to make. It just makes no sense to me whatsoever. But here we are. So it's projected to do about $55 million. Of course, it's going to get the $55 million this weekend because it is Disney at the end of the day. But I feel like the numbers are going to shrink. Disney is going to lie about these numbers. It's going to miraculously make $1 billion for no odd reason. And there you go. This movie was a failure to begin with. I do not blame the stars of this film. I do not blame Gal Gadot because they knew what they were hiring her for. And I don't blame the girl that played Snow White because I get what people are trying to say as far as I almost said gender switch. It wasn't a gender switch, just to be honest with you guys. It was a race switch, right? And I don't want to get into the race conversations because it's really not that important. I get it. She was like, skin was supposed to be white as snow. That's why she was Snow White or something like that. Either way, it was just a bad film. So that wasn't going to change my aspect of saying that this film would have been better with a white counterpart. And yeah, there you have it. All right. So let's get on to the next topic. all in all, let me get my rating out the way. I give this film a 1 out of 10. This movie was just terrible from start to finish. I don't understand what the hell happened at Disney. I don't understand what the hell is happening in film. If you guys haven't noticed, I haven't been going to the theater lately. There's really nothing out there that's grasping my attention. I really wanted to watch Alto Nights because when I was looking up the information for this film, the premise sounded a lot better than that trailer looked. And I don't think I can go for another disappointment at the theater right now. My heart just can't take it. I can't wait to go see Magazine Dreams. I'm definitely checking that out tonight. I'm going to give that to you guys next week. But other than that, man, I just feel like we're losing at the box office. I don't know what's going on. They're just throwing stuff out there that we don't care about, or they don't really care about that we want to care about, but they're not giving us a reason to care about. So the content needs to be there. At this point, let's come up with something a little bit better than a Snow White remake or a live action version of Snow White that cost $300 million. Because honestly, you could have came up with something original that would have cost you half of that, and it probably would have did better at box office. So that's my take on Snow White. Let's get into Daredevil Born Again, episode 4. Going into this, I was excited because we just came off of, what's my man's name? White Tiger being assassinated, right? Is it assassination? I feel like assassination only come with like high-ranking governments and celebrities at this point. But I guess the White Tiger was a celebrity because he got off and people loved him. All right, we're just going to say that. Assassination. After coming off of that, we see the guy walking off with the Punisher bulletproof vest, and it cuts to credits. This episode shows us that it wasn't Frank Castle Punisher. It was the police force, because the police force are now their own Punisher-esque people, which is kind of weird. And I'm going to explain why. Punisher went around as a vigilante and he hurt people that needed to be hurt, pretty much. With the police, the whole situation with the police in this situation, it wasn't like they were doing anything good by taking out the White Tiger, because it wasn't like he did anything that wasn't vigilante style. Like, they didn't take out the White Tiger because he did something bad. And that's what threw me off with this situation. It was just like he accidentally killed one of their partners, which in turn they were doing something crooked in the first place. But they have this Punisher tattoo thing going on in the precinct, and that's what's confusing the hell out of me. So right now, again, we're only on episode 4. It's supposed to be 18 episodes. So again, it still has my attention at this point. Now, there was some dialogue scenes between Frank Castle and Daredevil, what's his name? Matt Murdock. At the end of the episode, honestly, they could have kept it. It wasn't good. They're not great actors. We're looking for action scenes when it comes to these two. As far as the dialogue, it wasn't a good dialogue scene. It wasn't a good drama scene. It didn't bring you in. All you were interested in that conversation was the fact that it was Frank Castle and Matt Murdock. That was it. So I say all that to say that episode 4, and I feel like this is happening with season 4s. Everything with the 4s is starting to be bad for some odd reason. Thor 4, Captain America 4, episode 4 of Daredevil Born Again. Hopefully it picks up after this. I'm going to just say that. This episode wasn't the greatest. You didn't miss anything if you skipped this episode. To be honest with you, I feel like if you pick up at 5, there was nothing really put into episode 4 besides a small case that really is just talking about injustices in America, and who doesn't know about injustices in America at this point. Other than that, it can be left alone. It wasn't an important episode. So we're just going to toss that to the wolves. So that is my thoughts on Daredevil Born Again episode 4, and my thoughts on Snow White. I almost called it Snow White and the Huntsman because I remember that movie coming out a couple years ago, and I'd rather watch that instead of this a million times over. All right. I appreciate you guys for tuning in another week for the Seez Monroe Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I appreciate you as always. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you felt about Daredevil Born Again, episode 4. Let me know what you felt about Snow White, although I can't bring you too much conversation because I just thought it was completely trash. There was really nothing in that film for me. And I'm gonna take my children to see it just to see if I'm missing something, right? Make sure that it's not just me. Yeah, but I don't think they'll be interested in it. I kind of gauge their likings, and I don't think this is going to be one of their likings. So we'll see. I'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.